We are so glad you made it. I had to cut off the boys talking backstage before the show started just to get it going. So we are frothing. We're back. We're excited. You thought it was winter. I'm not sure that it's winter yet. We shall see. Let's go.
I'm proud of you guys. You work hard. Yeah. We're going to celebrate with a pizza party. Here we go. Pizza party. What? Here comes a pizza party. Hey. Oh. Pizza party. Pizza party.
Club NGMI.
So our audio guy, Tig, requested the new intro. And that's the new intro that I have right now. So Tig, I need the new intro.
So still didn't fix the letters though.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Well, that was I mentioned to him in the chat. I said,
it's actually kind of funnier that way. Like I actually like it.
It's codified now.
We're so on the ball.
It's that is canon now for the show, I believe.
Yeah.
And it's beta. It's NGMI not going to make it. We'll just leave it in. I think it's part of it.
Yep.
So Lou, how was your week?
It's a good week. I went and this weekend I spent in the mountains a little bit. It didn't snow, which was good. We were concerned, but I was out in the mountains. I was able to, I had Wi-Fi, so I was able to, farm my hero quests. Since there's you could hop in like 3 times a day or whatever. So made sure to get those in. Can't miss out on those tiers, especially when they were at peak pricing. So I had to farm those out. But yeah, just in general, I feel like people are in better moods across the board. People are back from NFT NYC. There's these different companies that I'm sure we'll probably talk about that seem pretty confident about the future of NFTs and crypto. So I'm feeling pretty good.
I love it. I'm excited about these new companies that you have. So this is VC money is arriving or something. Who knows? Babs, how was your week?
Week was good. Life-wise, I despise daylight savings time. So, battling the 5 a.m. wake-ups with the kid right now. But other than that, going well. NFTs, like Lou, I've been, farming my DeFi kingdom, doing my quests. My wife's always wondering, like, when I'm lying in bed, why I have my laptop lately, like playing a little game, like going to the wishing well. Like, that's fun. But, but other than that, good. I kind of like the slower NFT world right now, like, minting maybe 1 or 2 things a day. It's kind of nice little break. DeFi Kingdom's been fun. Obviously, I think all 4 of us are in it now. So that's been fun to kind of occupy our time a bit. And, I've actually minted a few things this week that are above mint. So like, that's been nice. It's, that's a nice change. And it does feel like a little less wintry than maybe it was last episode. So, things are good. I'm happy to be here. It was a good week. Let's talk NFTs.
I love that Babs, you've said a few times, like, I'm happy to be here, as if like you're forced to be here. Like I could drive to Alberta and like
it's fun.
Corral you in.
Yeah, like no, I always like I'm always happy to be here because it's fun to talk NFTs. Like I get to talk with my friends. I consider you guys friends about NFTs for an hour and a half every Monday. Like that's great.
Talking about life stuff, like I just got a new phone and I set up a bedtime routine, and I just got notification that it's wind down time for me. So that's how old I am. I do wind down time as I'm doing a YouTube show for my friends. So Trey, how was your week?
Man, pretty good. A pretty low-key weekend for the most part. I kind of just stayed inside and grinded out some DFS stuff. Had a horrible week there, but we'll recover. NFT side, Lou was saying before the show that his ETH balance has actually gone up the past week or two. I can honestly say the same. And like Lou was saying, it's kind of because I'm just not minting as much, and the stuff that I have minted, like Bab said, is actually doing okay, like the ducks and some of the other stuff. So you know, kind of happy to see, you know, I'm not bleeding out ETH constantly by minting, you know, 1 million projects a day. So that's always kind of nice to see that balance go up. So, you know, with everything pumping and stuff, it's certainly fun to kind of just sit back and watch the charts. That's for sure.
I am literally pulling up the chart right now, the ETH USD chart. It's incredible.
It's just, it's bringing me back to like, I mean, back in March, back when I had like, I don't even think I had maybe like 10 ETH to my name or 5 ETH to my name. And I was still just watching the charts, you know, like crazy back in, you know, back in April. Don't do that as much anymore, but it's certainly fun when crypto's pumping the way that it is.
So I did this recently out of nowhere, and I looked back because I remember when I first heard about Ethereum, it was from a buddy who heard about Ethereum, a buddy who's a therapist, and one of his clients was like, "You should hear about this thing called Ethereum." And I asked him, like, "Is it Ethereum? Like, how do you spell it?" Like, that's how I was. And it was back in March of 2017, and Ethereum was $40 or so on that day. And so I found like the exact moment, and I said, nah, no thanks. I don't really. If it's not a scam, I think is what I said, then I'll buy in. So I bought in higher. So I don't know if you all have that moment or remember it. It'd be fun to look back at like who texted you or who messaged you originally about Ethereum in particular or crypto in general. But I thought that was a fun walk down memory lane as we're way above that now. We're at 47.85 now. So that's why
Pretty sure my roommate back probably around 2017, he bought at 40, and I'm pretty sure he like rage sold it all back around like 400 after it went like up to 1,000, and then it came back down, and he like bought a bunch and then just sold it off. He was pissed about it, and this was all in like the span of 4 months too. So everyone's been there.
We've had 5 straight weeks of green candles on Ethereum.
Yeah.
You love to see it.
10K by Christmas, they're saying. That's what people told me. And the charts basically tell you that's what's going to happen.
On
right?
pace.
Were you guys? I remember back in like, you know, back when it was pumping, or even over the summer, I was like almost hoping that it didn't, because I had a feeling that if we did get up to that, you know, that 10K point, or even where we're at now, that NFTs would just, the market would be dead. And I mean, it's certainly there. Who knows if that's the true correlation? I'm sure it definitely has something to do with it. But it's funny back that, yeah, like over the summer when NFTs were just so hot, I was like, all right, ETH, just stay where you're at for right now. Like, give us some more time, give us some more, you know, buy us some more NFT Summer. And I think it did that, to be honest. We had a good run there.
Yeah, like Lou talked about it on his stream with Lucky Trader today. It's hard for new people to come in because Ethereum's so high. Like if you're coming in as a new guy, like, do you really want to pay, you know, over $2,000 for like a groupie? You know what I mean? Like that's what you're looking at as a new guy, like coming into second guy something, and you haven't had all that 4 months of transfer of wealth that we got to enjoy. So like it's hard for a new person. I can imagine starting with Ethereum this high and having to deposit US dollars and then try and play this game now, right? Like it's a little hard. Obviously we got it cheaper.
Hard.
Well,
I mean,
really
it's almost
hard.
impossible to play the game that we were playing back in over the summer. I mean, it's just not there.
I mean, how much do you think realistically you'd need? 5 ETH or something like that? And because you can't buy like multiples of things that are actual blue chips, or even if, like for your example, like what it's the groupies floor point,
it's probably around
7 or something,
0.5, I think.
0.5,
last I checked, but
and you, in that case, like you're gonna buy more than one if you're buying into it.
Yeah.
So.
0.4.
Groupies are 0.4, I think. I still have
0.4.
8 I still have 8 groupies, so still sitting on a pretty decent bag of those.
I think that should be a part of the show almost every time. Is just Trey's diamond handbags. Like,
I certainly got. I still got plenty of them. That's for sure. Still got a few Robatos. I got some moon bags. I liked the groupies though, but I had like 25 of them, I think. So I sold off like 17.
Yeah, like I think you could start with like 2 Ethereum now, but the problem is if you have a couple bad projects, you're almost done, right? Like if you have a couple losses, that 2 Ethereum can go by pretty quickly, right? And that's a lot of money for someone to lose if they're just starting out.
Frankie has a
exactly
great point. Yeah. And that is an important thing to realize, especially when we're in the Discord chatting about stuff. Like, it is absolutely 100% a completely different game. I missed on art blocks and I lost 0.02 in gas. And I will not think about that again as far as losing the gas. Missing on art blocks, I will think about that. And I have thought about that quite a few times, but that would murder somebody who has half an ETH or whatever. Just that's a huge loss. And then the only thing you care about is that USD value that went down a lot. So that also stinks. So
I mean, it's like $80 for someone that maybe doesn't have a ton of, you know, they're just trying to get into investing. Their net worth isn't, you know, like, it's not like they've been in crypto for a year now and have been reaping the rewards. Like, people that are just getting in are struggling with that for sure.
So I was trying to pull up a chart, but we're having some technical difficulties over in Dangywing HQ. But the last time, and this is meaningless, please know that, just for fun. The last time that we had more than 5 green candles in a week, the move from the bottom of those green candles was up 137%. If we were to move from 137% from the bottom of these 5 green candles, we'd be at 8,100. So there's no chance of that happening, but I just wanted to do it because I thought it'd be fun. So yeah, 8,100 by Christmas. There you go.
Yeah, and that is still lower than what the on pace was. I think that on pace thing that we were looking up, it would have to go up $1,000 USD every week to hit there by the end of the year, which it didn't even do 1,000. So I don't know where this on pace came from.
Was that to get to what?
To 10K.
10.
It's about 1,000 a week, and even over this past week, it didn't go up 1,000, right? Because wasn't it like 4,200 or something a week ago?
Yeah. I'm looking for, just like what Trey said, I want an accumulation period. I want to go sideways for a month. That'll give people a chance. The market will cool off a little bit. That'll be very exciting. So I do remember Chung is in there. I remember washing my crypto. That was exciting. NFA, NTA, none of that. But if current bills go into place in the United States, crypto washing could be a thing of the past as of January 1. Just so you know.
Oh yeah.
So
I remember that day when we were talking the crypto wash.
Yeah, I talked to an accountant or a CPA on Friday, and I told him I was washing some of my crypto, and I could just see it in his face. He was like, "Oh God." He's like, "What am I getting myself into here?" So we'll see how it goes.
So Tony brought up candles. I actually don't really like candles. In general, I don't like the scents, so I guess I don't like this season. So does anybody have? I see Lou and Babs are both shaking their heads like you're not candle guys.
I have candles.
My wife loves them, and I just hate the smell. Like, it's too overpowering. I don't know. I don't like things not to smell. If I had a choice, right? Like, I don't need things to smell. Like,
I guess, like, do you use the candle if it smells weird already, or do you just generally light a candle every day kind of thing?
I guess to cover a smell is what the typical use case is, but that's even worse because then I do subscribe to the belief that then it's a mixing of the bad smell and then the artificial smell. That's even worse. So
it's like the bathroom spray. Does anyone actually think that makes it smell better? It makes it smell worse. Like, it's just a mixing of 2 terrible smells.
I can see that.
This is the least surprising thing in the world, I think. Chung, how many crystals do you have in your house too? Are you a crystal guy too, Chung? I don't know. Let me know in the chat. So let us know in the chat if you're a crystal guy. All right, let's talk not necessarily NFTs, but I want to go to what Lou was saying from the start of these other companies getting involved in crypto world and potentially NFTs. And Scott, go away. If you don't like candle talk, you don't belong here. So goodbye, Scott. Have a wonderful day. Other companies are getting involved. I don't know if you're including ENS in that. I don't think you are, but we can lump them in a little bit as far as tokenization of stuff. But I believe you're referencing Reddit being one. And then there's another one that is escaping my brain. So what are your takes on Reddit joining the token game, and then others that you see coming down the pipe?
Well, yeah, Reddit was the big one. that had a lot of talk today. Coinbase was one that I was sort of considering in that. I think Nike did something as
I was
well.
gonna say Nike said they want to enter the metaverse, create avatars like that. I think that was just today or yesterday,
Yeah.
right?
I think I already
Yeah.
saw that they have I saw court documents where they had already filed for patents of their digital goods and stuff like that. So yeah, I think we've definitely seen some rumblings of these big brands getting in.
And Facebook was the other
yeah.
one on my list, which I think technically they're still going to be Facebook. It's the parent company that's changing to Meta, right? Yeah. But they're above. They have Instagram, and is WhatsApp part of them too now?
The tenor patents, that's what I saw, what Hodge is referencing.
Well, and then
yes, tenor
Budweiser too, right? Dilly.
Yeah.
Get in there.
Budweiser love their Tom Sachs rockets. That's another thing that came up this week. The Tom Sachs.
Oh, we'll get to Tom when we talk about NFT stuff.
I don't want to talk about Tom. I'm so tilted about Tom.
Well, don't worry. You'll notice I've been quiet a little bit in that FUD zone. We know how we feel, but we'll get there a little bit later on. So if you remember back, Beanie was on. No, Davis had Beanie on his podcast, right? Is that right?
I don't think.
No, he had D's on.
D's.
It was
He
D's.
did not have.
D's.
Yeah,
I
he
was
had
like,
D's.
Beanie?
Sorry.
That's
Not
I was
Beanie.
I'm old.
That would have been a must-listen podcast for sure.
Yeah. So Davis had D's on, and D's was bearish in general on P2E, play to earn NFT games. Basically because Y was actually successful, et cetera, et cetera. It's very hard. It was like lightning in the bottle, first mover advantage, all that kind of stuff. I'm on the D's train with the metaverse. I don't see it catching on, broadly speaking. I could see AR catching on, augmented reality. Not so much virtual reality, but I'm also open to the idea though, because I'm an old person and the next generation is coming up and they're going to be raised on this stuff. So, Lou, are you bearish or bullish on metaverse in general?
Are you talking the Oculus?
I don't know. What are these companies talking about when they say, "Oh, I'm in the metaverse"? What? I have no idea.
I think they need stuff like Decentraland, but if there's games that you can play on Oculus, that could be something too. Because from people that I know that own an Oculus, they swear by it. They say that there's games in there that they work out to, and there's different ways they can use that way. I'm not exactly sure how it would connect into NFTs, but I think when people talk about metaverse, they're more so talking the Decentraland events, and you could have maybe one day we had a club MGMI meetup at the casino in Decentraland, and everyone starts with a budget, and whoever has the most amount at the end of the night wins the event. And I think it's more stuff like that when people are talking about in the metaverse. I'm not sure. How do you guys think of it?
I always think of it as Ready Player One, right? Like that to me is the metaverse. You get to the point in time where everyone's going to online space, and there's different functions you can do in that space. So if it's a sandbox, you build out the land. This part of the land has a Z racetrack, and another part of the land you go play a different game over there. It's basically you're living in the metaverse. You're living online in some area that you can explore different games and play different
Sims
games. Yeah, basically Ready Player One. That's what I picture. A long time in the future, obviously, but that's kind of the path that I think people visualize when they talk about the metaverse, right?
I would say the same thing. Yeah, I mean, in my head, when I think of the metaverse, it's Ready Player One. Do I think that's going to be here in the next 5 years? Maybe even 10 years? Probably not. So yeah, I mean, when these companies are saying we're entering the metaverse, I think they have a little bit different definition, right? And I think everybody kind of had, I asked Maddie about that when we had him on, in terms of what his definition is of the metaverse. And I can't remember exactly what his answer was, but you know, everybody's kind of got their own vision in their head of what they see it as. But like I said, I don't think I see it getting that advanced in the next 5 to 10 years. But man, I've been wrong before. This crypto, I mean, just this space in general moves so quick that, I mean, I think a lot of people are wrong on how quickly they saw NFTs advancing. Anyone who says that we're still in like the first inning of NFTs, I think is probably pretty wrong. I mean, it's like the third highest art sale of all time. That you've got massive, you know, celebrities and brands getting into the industry. So I think we're pretty far past that, and it's came pretty far in a short amount of time.
We've done a disservice to our listeners, our watchers, and most important, our token holders. The United States Postal Service released an NFT on November 2nd, and we did.
What are they?
It was on.
Now that is like
Veev?
they're the opposite of moving forward, right? Crazy.
I would have bought them because they're just weird, and that's like I'm okay just buying something really weird.
How did you
Stamp
not hear about this?
that
I don't know, I'll
actually,
put it in the
wow,
chat.
wait.
It's
Yeah,
on
Michael,
Veev.
so he's
I feel like we
saying-
don't pay attention to Veev is the problem.
That's fine.
What? Yeah,
this is,
I don't
This
either,
is a
yeah.
fact. Like people collect stamps. That's like a
Oh, yeah.
thing that
true.
collectors love.
Mm-hmm.
Wow, this is how did we miss this?
It's because it's
We-
on
The
Veev. Like
thesis-
we don't really when do we paid attention to Veev ever? Like I've
Veev
never
is
done
the
a
one
single
that's
drop.
through your phone, right?
It's the one that has all
I'm
like the
holding.
Marvel stuff, right?
I'm again holding Tig personally responsible. It's 2 strikes, Tig. All right, be careful because you're the Veev correspondent. You're basically the only person that I know. You and Allison actually, that are interested in Veev. I have the app. I need to re-download it.
I
though.
have the app.
So it's just an app.
What would I have on Veev? What would I have gotten that app for?
They did like Superman drops and stuff on there. Like it was kind of like Marvel. Like they did, you know, Ghostbusters. They did a Ghostbusters one, I think. Some of those, right?
So here's my thing on the metaverse. It's great that these companies are coming up. I don't think it's great that these companies are coming up and trying to join the metaverse and do stuff and join crypto and do X, Y, and Z thing. Because part of the reason that this the metaverse and crypto and NFTs have grown so much is that I believe because it's decentralized and by default it's open sourced. So we like being able to see the Ethereum contract. There was talk about the DraftKings drop and like checking metadata and stuff, and I don't know how to do that on a sidechain or layer 2, and so it's more closed, and so we don't know what's really happening behind the scenes, and we don't know the transactions behind that. So what are I don't trust Zuckerberg. Like it's not a thing that I'm gonna do. Really, I literally deleted Facebook just because I don't trust what Zuckerberg is up to. So I don't really trust him in the metaverse either. So I think in the next 6-12 months or so, we're going to see a big fight between open world and closed world metaverse stuff. So who's going to win? I don't know. The way I see it playing out is a lot of sidechain stuff in that they'll provide a gigantic incentive to join the Facebook metaverse. And I'm going to be dumb not to follow it. So I'll probably end up being there or something. So I just see that as a risk to the general area.
I do worry those
Go
big companies it's more cash grabby for them too. Like are they really going to invest in it? Do they really care? Or is it just, hey, we can sell 100,000 of these for 0.05 and make some money and then move on? Like, I think, didn't the Matrix announce that they're doing something on, I can't remember what platform, but it was
100K one, right?
100K. And it's like, well, like who cares then? Right. It's not exclusive. It's 100,000, but they probably could sell almost 100,000 if it's a popular, franchise or company. But are we really interested in it? Like, it just doesn't appeal to me as much when major corporations start trying to mass appeal to people.
I think it would have to be something like an actual, like, not mint pass, but like good for, and you can claim a ticket to one movie, or like one I have had before is like maybe it's one per month for a year or something, like whatever you pay initially, it has that like continued utility that, oh, maybe I don't want to watch movies anymore, so I sell it off to someone else. But I think that's the only way you can have something that's 100K to do that.
I don't want to get used to it, Logan. I know people. I knew people were going to show up, but you're right. I just see that being a conflict coming up. That's all. Of what's going to happen. So it's also hard because I think compared to the other three folks up here, I'm more in it for the tech. Like I enjoy the nerd side of this stuff more than these folks. So I'll be more idealistic in how I spend my dollars. So I don't know. We'll see. I
would say I've moved more towards the tech side a little bit, especially just because I love Ethereum in general. So I know we were talking about Bankless in the DMs. They have this thing called their I guess this mental model called the DeFi or the DeFi mullet, where the most decentralized protocols tend to kind of funnel towards the bottom of that pyramid in DeFi, where they become like the base layer essentially. So when a company like Facebook comes in, it'll be an interesting test to that theory to see, okay, they're certainly going to be creating their own metaverse. I doubt that there's no chance that Zuckerberg is going to want to build his meta on top of Ethereum that he has no control over. Like there is just I hope I'm wrong, but he's going to create his own thing, right? And so it'll be interesting to see how that plays out and whether that theory holds strong, where companies and big brands are just forced, pyramid, are just almost forced to adopt the more decentralized protocols because that's where everybody funnels to. So yeah, I'm hoping that, the retail, traders and just consumers move towards that decentralization rather than kind of just eating up whatever Facebook puts out. But, I guess we'll see.
Is that Libra? Is that right? Whatever happened to Libra? I don't remember what happened to Libra. What happened to Intel? They were doing a blockchain too, right? What happened to Intel's blockchain? I don't know. Okay, let's go. Let's jump back to our roots. I think we should get to NFT world. I do feel like we had a whole experience this week, we haven't had a whole experience in the last week. We had one of our members get scammed, which sucks each and every time. Whole experience, part of it. We had an art blocks curated, getting back to the roots again. We had a gas war. That was fun. I missed the gas war, so back to the roots again.
Stealth drop, kind of.
I was gonna save that for last because that's insane. We had 2 stealth drops actually.
Yeah.
They were both told about in advance, which was the funny part.
We haven't really had many stealth drops where they don't at least hint at it, right? Like they always kind of hint at it. Even Galactic Apes they hinted at, right? Like you knew it was coming. So
Trey, what was your point? I think we were going to.
I was just going to say. I think we're getting a little bit too literal with like stealth drops. It's like I think stealth just means, hey, we're going to be dropping. You announce the day that you're dropping, maybe, and then it just comes at any time, right? So that people can't plan their day around it, and it's generally just to make it so there's a little bit less demand, but also enough to where you're still going to create hype so that it's successful after the mint too. I think there's like that fine line. So I don't really subscribe to the whole like if you're gonna call it a stealth drop, it just has to come out of nowhere and nobody saw it coming.
I think I figured it out. It's when the creators call it a stealth drop and they tweet about the stealth drop that it's different. Like if they were to just say I'm dropping something later, that's totally different to me than if it's I'm dropping a stealth drop. And you're like, no, you're not. You liar. Yeah. I know it's coming now.
Well, Pastel Toads, that was kind of a stealth drop because everyone thought it was a hack. That case, maybe warn people that you're dropping it.
That one was a hack, wasn't it?
No, it was real.
Was it real?
I think we went around in a circle.
Exist?
It was real, and then like no one bought it.
And
then they deleted the Discord. Yeah, then they deleted the Discord. So it was either a rug or.
So it was real.
It was a rug.
It was a hack.
An
then it was a rug.
unsuccessful
Yeah,
rug.
I'm not really following that.
They
Yeah, it's
didn't
just a rug.
succeed in tricking people to buy first before they left.
Yeah. Okay.
So let's talk Art Chick. This ties into another thing that I'm actually interested
A
in, which
club
is Zeneca.
MGMI token holder.
True. That is true. So we'll just show you that we'll take no prisoners with this following conversation. We don't care whether you have the token or not. So she was doing a stealth drop. That's what started. And what happened was she had it listed for 1 ETH each, and it was a 10K project. And the utility out of that was you could like have her pump your bags on Twitter. Is that is that correct?
You staked the NFT, and whoever had the most staked, I think, or like got more preference, and then she would still vet the project. It sounded like from her tweets. So I don't know her exact process behind the scenes, but the general idea was stake your NFT, and whoever stakes more gets shilled. And then I think the NFT burns after you get your one tweet too. So like
it's deflationary.
that's
expensive.
what I thought. Yeah, that's honestly what I thought. It was like you lose the NFT after it gets used, which is just crazy. So like her tweets are worth $4,500 now. Like what?
I need to go look at how many people bought.
Oh yeah, 48. Yeah.
That's right.
He sold 4, I thought, wasn't it? Like it was 4.
I think it was 3 or 4. Yeah, 3 or 4.
That's what she sold?
Yeah.
I was just
honestly, I thought it was a genius way, potentially, is like if she planned that the entire time, like creating all this, like all these, this uproar about her raising the price, setting it at 1 ETH and then just doing it for free. Like it had our entire Discord talking about it and asking for the, Ether scan and all that stuff. It's still dust though. I think it's like 0.003. So whatever.
Chanko has about 20 of them listed for 0.0038, so he's not
Does
helping.
he? God damn it, Chenko.
Gotta call him out.
Sitting on a 40 bag of these things.
I mean, it's not wrong. Are you speaking from experience, Hodge?
Oh no.
Yeah.
Well, didn't Fleur say that he didn't get out of bed for less than 3 ETH?
Yeah.
Well, what is
I think
Zeneca is getting 6% of all the sales on that Curious Addy. Like to me, like that, like yeah, and then he has a big tweet thread about how he's, not being paid to promote it. It's like, buddy, you're being paid to promote it. You just did, right? Like 6% of 10,000 times whatever that is, 0.08 is quite a lot for being an advisor, right?
Yeah. We're minting those, aren't we?
I'm currently planning to, yeah.
I mean,
I'm not on the
100%
white list
refund.
though.
Wait,
I'm not.
minting
I think it's,
Zeneca's thing?
Yeah.
no, so this is a different. That's the
For
Curious
free.
Addies.
Yeah, you're thinking of Zeneca's 3 ETH
project
thing.
Yeah.
Which we'll get to. If Zeneca was advising on this 2476 project, the Art Chick one, he would have gotten 1 ETH for 6% of secondary sales. So just to give you perspective on what 6% could be, this is the dustiest project that I've seen in a while, and it's still 1 ETH value to him. So what happened was she ended up making the price free, and the max transactions, I don't know if they already were, but the max transactions were 20 per. And the show's own CP Trey actually got in the last whole 20 transaction that I saw. And I minted 20 just because it's dumb. It's the dumbest thing I've ever seen. And I want a memento of just to remember, that time Art Chick thought you would sell for 1 ETH and then tweeted out, for the haters, I'm just going to do it for $0 now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Gas was so cheap too. Like there's literally no reason not to just try and fire off on as many as possible.
Oh yeah, it costs $30, I think, for 20.
Yeah, it was like 0.00 whatever 6 or something like that. There's no reason not to. So I don't know. And it's nice that it's an 1155, so it's not taking up like 40 squares in your OpenSea at the top of your OpenSea. So I think that's the most bullish thing. I honestly would have second guessed myself if I didn't know that it was an 1155 token. I just wouldn't have minted because I would have been like, I don't want that to take up the entire top half of my OpenSea.
The downside is there's 10,000 of them. Like it's never getting above like 0.003 floor either, right? Like it would take forever. But
can we hold off on the FUD there for a second? I'm sitting on 40 of those. Like, all I'm asking for is 0.01.
It's never getting there, I don't think.
That's all I'm asking for.
Can we talk about how I can't even hide NFTs anymore because I don't know how I'd be able to find them again because I just get sent 70 of those things every day now.
I have 700 in my hidden.
Yeah.
I don't even go in there now because I don't
Every
even know what's
day.
in there, right? Like it's 50 every day almost.
They're all stupid.
I've got 600.
If you ever click into one of those, they all have $0 of trading value, like trading volume. So it's like, why
Just
are
to
they
list
still
them,
doing it? It's not
right?
even
Yeah.
making the money.
I have like 7 of the same one too. It doesn't. I go in. Yeah, it's nuts. Too many.
That's my whole activity feed now too. Is just like things getting minted to me. So it's like so hard to find. You know, if I sold
sales.
something even because it's just
a
disaster.
You got filter by sales.
Well, what's the answer to that though? What could or should OpenSea do, if anything? Because they're in your wallet.
They kind of
tied to your
did.
account.
They made it so that it goes straight to your hidden, which is nice. It's actually really nice.
I think they should be delisting that stuff though, right? Like
Yeah.
it's clearly like not an actual legit project. Like why do you need to keep that on OpenSea? Right?
Yeah.
Like especially because a lot of them seem to be copycats, like it's CryptoPunk painting or
the paint club or something.
The paint club or like I think like they should be a little more proactive on delisting that stuff. Like they're not proactive on delisting that stuff, but they were very proactive on delisting the project that one of our guys got scammed on today, right? So like what's the difference, I guess, in my head? Like if you're gonna do one, you should be doing it all.
Is it volume?
Maybe.
Yeah, it could be volume.
I mean, that's a tough line to really. I mean, that's tough for them to manage, really. I mean, if there's a project that's openly trying to scam people, then yeah, I get it. But if there's like swimmy sharks want to send 10,000 swimmy sharks out to other people, like there's no reason they can't, right? Like, how do you manage that? Because you still want people to come and use OpenSea to create their own NFT projects, even if they're complete dust. So like, where do you draw the line there? Like, how do you manage that or enforce that? I guess. Like, I don't know how you do that.
From a UI perspective, there's an easy answer. It's folders. We've been asking for folders for months.
Yeah,
and
true.
We just keep accruing more and more things. Give me a folder set in hidden. Give me a folder set in my real area. Great. That's what I really want.
I bet Coinbase NFT interface will have hidden folders or folders just in general.
This is the bull case on the competition between these marketplaces for sure.
I mean,
like
it seems like Coinbase
just sent out their wallet, their non-custodial wallet. I think they rolled out today too. So they're trying to compete with MetaMask there, which will be nice because MetaMask sucks so bad.
They're taking complaints from people and using them for
And
their own benefit.
Yeah.
That's why I'm bullish.
On that wallet idea, or I actually liked XDeFi. I used that when interacting with Thor this past week. I enjoyed the wallet. It's a little more like nerdy and technical focused, I think, because it's built to be cross-chain. Like you can connect to multiple chains at once, and if you don't know what you're doing, it's overwhelming to connect to BSC and Ethereum and Thor, and you're like, what the hell is Thor? So it's also dangerous with gas because there is what they call an ape mode, which is basically you're going to get your NFT. You're going to get it. So they just go nuts on gas for you. So I think that's something to look out for too, is competition in that area as far as the wallets go. But what's Coinbase's incentive to have a wallet? I guess they could do preferential treatment to using Coinbase to onboard instead of MetaMask using Wire. That's an easy one. I answered my own question.
Probably make it easier for new users. Like I think that's their whole goal, right? Is to transition Coinbase users easily into NFTs, where MetaMask isn't easy, I would say. Like, let's be honest, it's not super easy for new users to come in and understand how to even do simple transactions sometimes, right? So
yeah, it's the whole idea where like one complaint I always had at my 9 to 5 is it's like, why do I have all these different systems and I have to go onto this website for my calendar, and this website is where I'm doing meetings, but there's Zoom meetings, there's Teams meetings, you know? So I think Coinbase is trying to be like a one-stop shop.
I just found the wallet of the person. I was scrolling the entire time we were talking about this Artchick stuff and moving on to wallets and stuff. I was scrolling to find the first transaction on the Artchick NFT, and it was a WETH offer that was accepted. And I kind of feel bad because the wallet that paid the one ETH or one WETH has a bunch of Boss Beauties and like Elvin in it. If you remember Elvin's.
Yeah.
So I think this person was trying to support a fellow woman in the NFT world, and
Just got
down
wrecked.
bad. They also have mooks, so
She should just reimburse them.
Which
Yeah, the four.
Like the people that paid 3.
Yeah,
You're like, what do you like? Come on.
yeah, I got
What
reimbursed.
a joke.
Lou, did you just say which mooks?
Bullshit.
Yeah.
That's the
the
funniest
mooks?
thing that I've heard
Come
on
on.
this show in months.
I mean,
what's mooks?
I
Remember-
Even
you
I
don't
didn't
remember
even mint
Mook Night?
mooks, but I
You remember Mook
mooks.
Night?
I have the first derivative of a mook ever.
Oh,
Yeah, you
Jesus.
did the
Created
those
my own.
mooks. Yeah,
In
I
paint
forgot about
is
that.
great.
I miss those nights. Helmet Boys, Mooks, what's those Pixie Girls?
The
We haven't.
Brunos.
What are the cats
Brunos
that
were
we
the
used
best
to all
ones.
go nuts
Brunos.
over?
Bruno.
The Chihuahua gang.
Oh yeah, who was?
Who
Tony
was?
probably has a dozen who was.
Oh yeah,
He's
That
so
was
cool.
early. That was really
that was
early.
yeah, that was true OG for sure.
That was the first Discord that we like took over in a way, where they
for
only
sure.
had like 20 people, and then we hopped in
Oh yeah,
with all the people
that
from our
was
Discord,
different.
just like telling them what to do and how to make money. They got
That
a
was so
decent
fun
floor
back
at
then.
one point.
Well,
Oh,
they
yeah.
they rocketed a little bit. You could make
Oh,
money
and
on
then
those.
Crypto Babe didn't Crypto Babe buy one too?
Oh man,
The
Did
Top
you?
Can't say I
Shot.
follow her
I'm-
her wallet at all. So
she's
Fun
not
trick.
on Nansen alerts.
I don't think
Not
Nansen
mine.
Alerts was around back then, or else
Yeah.
those Whoas would have gotten crazy back then with all of us whales.
So Lou, when we were brainstorming ideas, we also talked about the fish tank. I like the fish tank idea, but this kind of ties into another theme of young people getting into NFTs and being project leaders, and then appearing to not kind of know what they're doing. So I like the fish tank from the start. I like the concept. It's literally for the vibes for me. It's not about making money. So I have a totally different perspective than I think most folks would. But I still like the fish tank. What has happened was he paused it. He let whitelist people mint, paused everything, paused the contract, took the website down because the website's SSL certificate was old. So it was showing not secure, which is not a thing that you want to see when you're connecting your MetaMask, which it's likely fine, but still I disconnected pretty quickly just to be safe. And then I stopped paying attention to it. And this morning it was, it's back up. And then it was back down again. The most interesting part was he restricted sales on the project. And he said, he blamed it on OpenSea in the language, which is interesting. And that's not true. But he stopped sales. So then the floor cratered. And then he just turned sales back on. So then those two people who had really low listings got their stuff eaten up. So I believe we still have another like 12 hours or so of whitelist minting for the fish tank. And then it's going to be public mint for the remaining of the 55. So yeah, anybody else in the fish tank? Anybody else interested in the fish tank?
I am. I haven't minted yet. I want to. Like, I mean, it's only 0.055. I kind of like the idea of them. I'll mint one. I was just looking. It doesn't seem our sales turned on now still. Like, there's only ever been those two really cheap sales is all they've had. And it doesn't look like there's been that many minted. It's only like 800 minted. So I don't know if that's, probably not going to be a great smash that way, but I'll mint. I like them. The kid's working really hard. I don't think he knows exactly what he's doing, but I like you said, I like the vibes. I'll mint it. See what happens.
Yeah. Tamagotchi fish. I mean, come on. Well, and this is, I'm not even kidding. I think the music is going to be important to the vibes of these. Like I need an 8-bit, like I need to feel Mario 2 underwater level vibes from this music, or else it's going to be trash. I'm not going to have it up at all. Play with it. Frankie is
I
saying
don't
the
even
buy
know
button is
fish.
back.
I completely missed all of the fish.
Well, allegedly there's another fish tank game. This was called the fish tank, and it was a quick whitelist where you got in early, and then you were on the whitelist, and then you were there. Then it blew up to like 8,000, like these Discords tend to do now. I don't know about the hoity-toity artsy ones, but is anybody in the artsy fish tank ones, the more painted looking fishes?
Can't say I am.
No.
Great. Yeah, me neither.
Take it from
yeah,
here,
I'm
Dan.
saying you didn't miss much. Okay. So what about Thor
Should I mint one
guards?
right now?
A live mint. Well,
What's
no, this
live
ties into
minting?
Eric's question. Eric has a question. Why is gas so high? So gas is at one. It was just at what, 80? Now it's 156.
Is it down?
Down to 156 is what you're saying, Trey?
Oh, after the ENS thing, it was at like 300.
Yeah, that's a little different though. And so a lot of people do ask, and sometimes it's in earnest, sometimes it's not. Why is gas high? Brandon gets it. I think I don't care why gas is high, because there's a lot of reasons why gas could be high. But the bigger picture question there is layer 2s, side chains, and that kind of thing. So, Lou, you were talking about an opportunity to make some money potentially with some airdrops on side chains, layer 2s, etc. What is your stance on side chains, layer 2s? Are you involved in any other ones? What are your thoughts on them writ large?
Yeah, so I feel like Avalanche, I think I missed timing on for that one. I feel like I'm too late in a way. Instead, I bought the coin. But then Harmony, I'm in on DeFi Kingdoms. And then Phantom. Is it Phantom or Phantom? Is there an H in there?
No H.
Phantom, I got in from Ja. Ja got me in on
Love
that for
Ja.
that summit. And Gump read the white paper and immediately like shot down our idea. But I'm bullish on Phantom in general, because it seems like they are focused or trying to focus on gaming. And one thing that they seem to be in the running for potentially, if DeFi Kingdoms moves off of Harmony, that Phantom or Avalanche seem to be the top two. So I'll probably hold more of that. But are you guys thinking Harmony is going to survive long term? Those are the only ones I've been really digging into. I haven't gotten into the Thor chain much.
Thor is niche. Like Thor is crazy, so don't feel bad about Thor. What do you have, Trey?
I have no idea whether I honestly know absolutely nothing about Harmony, other than that DeFi Kingdom. Did they create DeFi Kingdom to live on Harmony, or did they create Harmony and then they came up with the idea of DeFi Kingdom after? Is that how it went? Because I actually don't know a whole lot about Harmony in general. I think the future of just chains in general is, L2s for the most part. And most people interacting with L2s going forward rather than interacting with Ethereum mainnet, just because gas fees are going to be too high. I think in 5 years, we're going to be looking back all nostalgically on the fact that we were even using the mainnet, rather than being on an L2 24/7. Those are just starting to scale right now. Arbitrum and Optimism just came out. Matic is technically a side chain and has been around for a little bit, but we're obviously seeing some games go over there because of the cheap transaction fees, but they've obviously still got some stuff to work on. So it's just all starting to get scaled out. So who knows where it goes from here? But I do think that, these gas fees, just you really can't do much long term. I just don't see it happening on the mainnet.
Yeah, and Solana has been pumping too.
Yeah,
no gas fees.
Yeah, yep. And so I think each blockchain will probably have their little niche that they maybe attack or whatever. But you really right now it's Ethereum, and then it's all the other chains trying to compete with it. So Ethereum has them all beat when it comes to decentralization. So where are they gonna provide value elsewhere, or come in and provide that like niche service that maybe Ethereum can't provide, or that an Ethereum L2 can't even provide too, right?
Yeah, because right now it's
I think
speed and gas, right? That's their main difference.
Yeah, but Ethereum's got better security than all the other ones. So,
And-
I think that's what it's like overlooked among retail traders, like people that don't like the tech side of it. But security is one of the biggest things. And so, Solana's is more centralized. So that's the sacrifice that they're taking. Cardano just sucks. So that's the sacrifice that they're taking, I guess. So it just goes, right? It's like they're all competing with Ethereum, and now we got to figure out other ways to scale this. It comes in the form of L2s. It might come in the form of, Solana or Flow being like these niche service providers for other stuff on other chains.
Well, even if you spend more than like a day on Zed and trying to deal with the Matic network, like it's a disaster, right? Like it's always interrupted, like it doesn't function properly. So like, yeah, all these side chains are great, but you actually need one to work too.
Yeah.
Like even Harmony on days where DeFi Kingdom has a little bit of activity, you can tell it's slow, and it doesn't take much to make it slow, and transactions failing already, right? So like I feel like the one nice thing about the Ethereum network is you don't have as much of that. Like sure, gas costs a lot, but generally it functions properly most of the time. But I'm not a technical enough nerd to tell you why that is.
That's a good point, because with Ethereum, I do much fewer transactions than I do with the side chains. So if I see a failed transaction, I can go in and lightly debug it and say, why did this fail? I don't know. But with the side chains, I just keep plowing through because it's so cheap, and I don't even look at what the failure was. So it could be the chain's fault, and it could be the web app's fault. I don't know. So yeah, that's pretty interesting. But the cost is just so drastically different. And to Trey's point, I think we listened to the same Bankless podcast recently, which was basically saying that Ethereum is going to be the security layer for blockchains in a lot of ways that are transactional, not Bitcoin, but transactional blockchains. And then using Ethereum security, you can build on top of it with much cheaper gas fees. So I think that's a big part of the future. And also, like you mentioned, just side chains that are completely separate and secured separately will be a future. So the whole point that I was bringing up with Lou was essentially there's incentives coming probably for you to be dabbling in these other areas. So I remember early on, probably about 6 weeks ago, I just bridged over to Arbitrum just to see what it was like to bridge over. And then I got an airdrop of some tokens from Arbitrum. And so the whole idea there is you use these new services. They want to incentivize you to come over. It's user acquisition, and that's a cost they have built in. So go use them, play around briefly, and then come back over to mainnet Ethereum and mint some NFTs and maybe make some money. So I do think layer 2s and sidechains of the future for sure. And I don't know about the tech enough to see what the niches will be. So I'm curious to see where they find their users.
Basically just experiment everywhere and use any swapping feature on any different protocol that you can. Because DYDX did that airdrop over the summer, and it was like all you needed was like $100 on their on their protocol, and you got like a $50,000 airdrop if you were outside the US. So it pays to just experiment with this kind of stuff, and you learn stuff along the way. Like I did that on Friday, and I was just farming for airdrops, bridging over to other L2s and Optimism, Arbitrum, or whatever. And I had to look up videos on how to do some of the stuff with different liquidity providers and stuff like that. And I just learned along the way. So it was almost like an educational experience too.
Totally.
So a question I have, and I don't know if this is possible. I don't know if this is like the future idea of it, but there are some projects that I've been in that moved from the Ethereum blockchain off to like Polygon. And do you think we'll see more of the NFT movement of moving them off to these side chains? And that then allows for more transactions. And maybe if the fees are less, then people are going to buy more and things like that. But would that also then hurt Ethereum native token at the same time because there's less activity? That's sort of like a catch-22 in a way.
No,
I don't think
it's
so.
all going to be on an L2 that's secured by Ethereum in general. So it's the security. Yeah. So when you're buying Ethereum, it's basically exposure to everything. It's why it's the easiest. Like anytime someone asks me, like, and I know their personality, it's a friend of mine that asked me, like, how can I get into NFTs, knowing that they're not going to put in the time and the effort to actually grind this out for the last 6 months like we did. I just tell them to buy Ethereum. You get exposure to DeFi, you get exposure to DAOs, you get exposure to NFTs, like you get exposure to damn near everything. And there's all this cool stuff being built on Ethereum. That's why it's like the best risk adjusted trade you can make right now, in my opinion.
And also
not financial advice.
Per Bankless, I forget exactly the term that they used, but we had our first deflationary hour, day, week, and month, I believe.
Yeah. Yep.
Or month is likely soon, and then their theory, at least in their ETH maxis, so know that. But their theory is we're just it's gonna be deflationary, period, in perpetuity.
Especially when ETH2 comes along. But yeah,
is that just because so many more people are using it? Is that more people using it than it's being mined?
It needs to be at a certain GWE level. The base fee needs to be above, like, I want to say it's like 200 something for it to be completely deflationary. And I think it's been averaging above that. I might be off on that number, but it's definitely like in the hundreds, probably over 150 that it needs to be.
Well, that's good to know. Yeah, I didn't know exactly what the threshold was. It's interesting.
Yep.
So your gas wars are keeping us alive. So we love.
It'll go down once ETH 2.0 comes along, though. That average GWE base fee for it to be deflationary.
Not to put you on the spot, Trey, but do you understand why? Because I understand proof of stake. I get that whole kind of concept, but I don't understand why it'll go down as far as.
No, not enough to. I just know that once ETH 2.0 comes along, it's much more like, because there was all these people saying once EIP 1559 came along that we're deflationary, and it was like, no, well, actually we're not deflationary yet. There's certain periods where we can be deflationary. Like I remember people were pulling up the first deflationary blocks during like the first big NFT mint right after EIP 1559 came out. And they're like, oh, we're deflationary now, right? So that base fee needs to be up there. I don't know all the technicals that go along with that. Maybe we can have Pete ask Andy tomorrow on Club Top Shot if they're still doing it.
Yeah, right. Raving content. What makes ETH deflationary with the
exactly.
block size and that kind of thing?
He'd be able to give us the answer.
He definitely will. Or I believe Jesse would. We can maybe have Jesse on to talk ETH 2.0 and. That's a good idea for sure. Jason, you had a good transition point for us. Jason just got an ETH for being dumb and thinking that .ens was a good idea back in May.
Smart.
Hey, that's what I bought.
And that's smart. I don't think it's dumb. So I'll start with what ENS even is, and then at least my understanding of it, and then we can go into the token kind of concepts and even price action on it, because I haven't looked at price action in a little bit. I'm curious as a current holder. So ENS is basically a DNS but for Ethereum. So when you go to google.com, nike.com, anywhere.com, you're routing to different IP addresses basically, and the DNS is telling you where to go. So what the ENS is doing is saying, if you want to go to give, say, 16 Ethereum to me, you can send it right to dangywing.eth, and then it'll go to my account. Same thing for Lou Dog Sports, CP Trey, Nike.eth, Cornell.eth, any other big brand.
Colorado.eth.
Colorado would be another one. That's correct. So I would look into ENSs because I think we the chat that we were in before the show got really frothy about ENS. It's like, oh, what if instead of Venmo you just use ENS now? So sure, there might be a world that looks like that. But what happened today was there was a token drop for people who kind of like what we were talking about with the sidechains, who interacted with ENSs and had ENSs set up in a certain configuration. You would get more based upon how long you had it, how long you had rented it, and whether you had it configured correctly. Great. Now our chat is just people begging for Ethereum. Fantastic.
Now it's just Cash App again.
That's right. Drop your ETH, drop your ENS in the chat, and then people send you money, I guess. I don't know. So today they dropped a token, which is $ENS, which is part of their governance plan for their ENS DAO. And I don't really care to get into the specifics, but basically it's higher than I expected. It dropped, and then it went up to about $40 per token, and then now it's settling around 28-ish.
That's sweet.
So
it came back down to 22, 23, and now it's climbing back up.
So Lou, what are your thoughts on this sort of governance token and ENS having governance token? And what do you think about this for Ethereum moving forward? I know it's a big question, but whatever.
I mean, I think it's a good idea. The way that they came about this, like, in a way, like a stealth airdrop to people who, like, we didn't buy these expecting to get an ETH months later. So that's like the cool side of it, where, they do this and then maybe people start looking into other things that could do something similar. And then it just kind of gets not like brand loyalty, but, it's giving back to the people that created all of this money for them. Like, we paid to get on these .eth, and then every time we're using it, we're kind of promoting them in a way. So like that side of it's pretty cool. And I think kind of what you're saying before is like, this is kind of how I see things moving, where instead of it is the Venmo for sending crypto. So like you said, there are people that say that drop your .eth, and you see that those tweet threads all the time. So I think it's a way that things are moving, and I wanted to make sure that my wallet had one, because I figured at some point it's not even just like to be cool, but it was also it was like easeability as well, where sometimes I don't know what my whole ETH address is, and it's like, oh, I'm sending you blah blah blah. It's like, oh, just ludog.eth, and I know it's going to go to my address. So that side of it was kind of the no-brainer to me, because it wasn't that expensive. It's only like 0.01 ETH per year or something crazy like that, unless you have like 3 or 4 letters, which then it's like way more expensive. But I think it's a reasonable thing for someone to just have one. Like, the people that squat on them and are like, oh, I'm gonna buy like I'm spread like Tony bought whitemike.eth because someone wanted to buy whitemike.eth, so he bought it, and then he's like, oh, you're gonna have to like buy it from me, and I think that side of it's not as cool. But someone did that with like a bunch of Club Top Shot things, I want to say.
Didn't Tony do Plunge Father too?
That was from a different project. What was that one?
Oh, okay, I can't remember.
Which name tags? That's what it's called.
Oh,
right?
is that what it was? Oh, okay.
He got Plunge Father, and then he's like, I'll sell it to you for however much. And Plunge is like, I'm not gonna buy it off you, but like was also probably mad that he scooped it from him. So I don't know. It's tough. I'm not like going through and thinking of cool names that don't already have an ENS and buying them up or anything like that.
So I don't think I never did a bull case.
I never did the ENS thing. I didn't see the point, but I need someone to pitch me on why I should do it. Like I missed the tokens, obviously, but like why would I want one now? Is it just the simple ease of not having to type out your wallet address every time? Is that like the bull case? Like, okay.
It's nice when I'm like, yeah. Well, yeah. No, tell you what, back when I minted mine, it was like right when it was at that time when gas was just insane back in like April and May, like right around the VFriends drop too. And I was like, when I didn't have a lot of bankroll, I was like, man, I am kind of dropping some dough on these ENS domains, but I wanted to look cool so bad because everyone had them in their Twitter profiles and stuff. So it's like the first time that trying to look cool has ever gotten me a 5-figure airdrop, but I'm okay with it. I'm here for it. Wait, but it's nice.
Yeah. So that was another thing. Oh, did you buy that, Phil? That's
Oh my gosh.
that'd be funny.
It is nice though when I'm typing it in, like you always almost wonder when you're sending, like I transfer between wallets, like from my Ledger to my actual MetaMask. It is nice to just be able to see, like in MetaMask, it'll say cptrade.eth instead of like 0x2 blah blah blah, and have like my full wallet up there, wondering if I like missed a digit or something like that, right? Even in a copy and paste. So it's just nice to see cptrade.eth up there. It looks clean on websites. It's just convenient, to be honest.
That's my other side bull case is once you start getting more wallets, then you can organize which wallet you see people name their profiles all the time. Like, CP Tray Vault is a different wallet than CP Tray, and so that just, you could have one, the .eth and the other one, with wallet.eth, and then which one's connected to which.
Yeah, and I wasn't trying to FUD. I was honestly asking because to me it just seemed like a thing you're doing to be to be cool. Like Trey said, is like that's all I thought it was. And obviously it would have been nice to get the tokens, but like to me, copy and pasting my wallet address was never that inconvenient. But I get the appeal of doing it if it's just simple and it's not expensive. But
it's like one of those things that you don't really get until you get it, and then you're just like, oh, this is kind of nice. Like at the moment, you're like, is this really gonna be like that cool or that great? But then once you get it, you're kind of like, okay, I can see why people like it. But I mean, I think it's bigger than like, I think it could be bigger than Venmo type stuff in the future. I mean, it's not just sending money. It's like your entire digital identity eventually, right? I mean, you have all these assets in your wallet, all these different NFTs that people can go and see, and they can just go to cptrade.eth, right? And they can see everything. So I think it's a little bit bigger than that. You're not just sending money, you're sending NFTs. You can send really anything, any digital asset. And once everything starts getting tokenized, we were talking about house deeds and all this other crap, right? Once all that starts getting tokenized, I think ENS domains are just going to go right along with it.
I don't really want my house deed on my like internet name, so maybe I need to change it.
Yeah, right.
I need a legal name wallet that's that's clean. I don't know. Are we gonna have to buy ENSs for like our children and stuff? Is that where we're heading?
That it's gonna have to have like a number at the end.
I'm pretty sure
I'm saying, like,
or you buy it from the person who squats on it. I mean, Tony's probably looking up, all right, what's Dangy's children's name? Let's get that ENS. So then he'll have to buy it from me.
Yeah.
It's probably out there. I don't protect that stuff too carefully. The other part for that's convenience and security in my world is copying the PC to your phone. I've seen like in the Discord, whitelist is open here, and I don't have my ETH address, and so I'm on my phone, and I currently don't have MetaMask on my phone, so I should just put in my notepad like my long string and then be done with it, and then I'm safe. But I get it. Copying from one spot to the other can also be a pain. But whereas I can type dangywing.eth, it's pretty easy to do. So yeah, get an ENS. Do it if you have the ETH to do it. If you're just building your bankroll, who cares yet? I would wait to do it. But I think that's fun.
And you can get it for a year for like, it's basically free plus gas. And then if you don't use it in the year, then just don't renew it.
All right, you're gonna have to teach me after the show how to buy one. I'll join the gang if it's that cheap.
Davis did it. You can do it.
Davis did it. Ori has one.
Yeah, I just don't know where it is.
Yeah, it's so funny that Ori got in last month. Already has a ENS domain. I know that Gump bought it for him, or however that went down.
And I don't have one.
That it turned out being it turned out being in like a really nice, compensated airdrop. And Babs doesn't even have one.
I don't have one. I just kept putting it on.
I was helping Jack one day. So someone squatted on Jack's name, but like didn't charge him for it, and then sent it to him. And then it was this whole thing where it was still connected to the other guy. And it's just easier if you make it yourself. It's like 3 buttons, but if it's connected to someone else and they give it to you, then it's like all these added steps.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
So I'm glad that we brought up Ori, who was the original Ori of the month in the Discord, because we're a little bit late, but it's fine. It's November, and we actually had our vote for the November Ori of the month. And I'm pleased to announce that it's none other than Mr. Chung Knows, who's the Ori of the month this month. So congratulations, Mr. Chung Knows. What that means is you will get to pick, and I'm actually scared about this.
Oh, no.
Not thinking about this. You get to pick an NFT's image to go on a coffee mug in Mr. Overzet's store. And you'll get one sent to you as well. And so I believe that means that I will likely end up buying it.
The funniest thing about Chung is he constantly switches his PFP too. Like, what's he even going to pick? I hope he picks the, I hope he picks the thick girl.
Please, like,
how
would you put that into existence?
The thick girl would be so good.
Oh my god, I'd buy it. I mean,
that'd be tough for me to buy. Like, that's a big ask.
You won't even put that type of stuff in your like wallet because you're scared that your kids will see it someday, much less like put it in your cupboard where your kids are certainly gonna see it.
I mean, they're not that tall yet, but it's more guests. Like, my in-laws will show up one day and like, what is this? So Ray, yeah,
you know.
think actually, I know, Chung, I know what you should pick. I know what I think you should pick. You can pick whatever you want, but that's part of it. And actually, one thing that we didn't do with Ori was we didn't do an AMA with him, which we said we would if he wanted to. So we need to schedule that and do it. And I believe we can do a Chung Ori AMA together. I think it'd be fun to get both of them together. So congratulations, Chung, for being our second Ori of the month in November. Very exciting stuff for us. So let me go through. Hold on, we gotta have some fun. Eric sent us some interesting show topics to cover today, so we'll pick one of those. I don't love that. Eric, these are terrible, actually, and I have a pretty big sense of. I cast a broad net about topics we can chat about. Are cheese doodles a chip? That's a quick conversation. Do open ended, please.
No.
Random segment called Babs is a host. We're not doing that right now. Pump the Orcs 12K project. We're not doing that right now. Favorite everyday snack. That's very broad. Very broad. I need more specific than that. What's everyone's bedtime / alarm time? That's, again, open-ended. Like, you could do bedtime routine. That's not as fun, though. Last but not least, why is gas so high? Eric, you're bad. Do better at this as our unpaid producer.
He keeps asking what's our plans for winter.
That's true.
Give him that.
I feel like we've already answered.
Okay.
Quite a few times.
DeFi Kingdom. Then move on, right?
Well, if you're it's hibernate.
Storm hasn't left us yet. He said that he was going to leave us after 10K ETH, I think he said. So we're halfway there.
He has a separate goal. I believe he's got his own 1,000 to 100K challenge that he's doing. I'll leave that alone. I don't want to share that necessarily, but it's very interesting. So my personal plan for winter is to explore DeFi. That's really it. Mm-hmm. To see what monies are made there, to be made there, and also potentially what safe money is there. Like, we're going to be in the holidays. What does that mean? Normally, you're going to visit your friends and your family back home. They're going to ask what you've been up to. For those of us who are watching the stream, probably crypto should come up, if you're being honest. But if you care about your life, then you won't bring it up, probably, just because your ear's going to be talked off with dumb questions. But what I really want to get to is, like, I want my in-laws to put some money in DeFi, in just stables, and then see the APR or APY. Because what's going to the winterest thing is American Express sent me a high interest rate savings account at 0.4%. And I'm like, okay, what are we doing here?
High interest.
High, like, that's what's I think about that
normal
twice a day. I don't know. So I want to get them in DeFi world during winter. I think it's a good time to do that. Lou, do you have a winter plan?
Yeah, so this is actually something I wanted us to talk about at some point, what you just said with the stable coins. So we talk about stable coins, but I feel like we don't really get into the weeds on what we mean by it. So just for like people that don't fully understand. So I guess there's a couple different ways you could go about it. There's like the DeFi farms, like you could farm it. But I think there's a lot of simple options. So one, and I was talking to Jacob about this earlier today because I think he's doing it. So BlockFi, they have, you can stake USDC, and it's up to $40,000, has 9% rate on it, which so it's USD. Technically, it's not like you can just take it out anytime you want per se. You still have to do all those transactions, but it's going to earn you more than if you sold it off and put it into your regular savings account. Like you said, it's like 0.5% versus 9%. It just seems like a no-brainer. So that's one thing I was looking at, where if I say you just want to take 1 ETH off the table because it's about, 5K or so, we're at all-time highs. Like, it's technically the best time ever to sell in Ethereum right now. So you just like take some off the table and you put it that way. Is there a better way to do it than that? I guess is my question.
Yes. The better way to do that is something that I have not done, but I desperately want to make time to do. Gump. Yes, this is the way. You deposit ETH on the mainnet or some side chains on Aave. You can borrow against that ETH. So the ETH is still yours, but you borrow stable coins against it, and then you can use those stable coins. So one way that I plan on paying myself is literally doing that. Put the ETH, take the stables, bring them out to my bank account, pay bills. That's how I'm planning to do it, because I don't want to sell crypto. Like I really, like, the thought of taking profit right now really hurts, because it's just like I truly genuinely believe in the Ethereum future, and so why do I want to take profit here? I don't want to. So this is the way out.
So then what's your LTV?
Yeah.
Well, what's your loan?
Question.
Like, where do you? Yeah, because I mean, let's certainly a 80 to 90%, crash or correction, whatever you want to call it. I mean, if history repeats itself, ETH could do that. I'm not saying it will. It's within the range of outcomes. I mean, where are you setting that LTV at? Because then you obviously want to be safe with it, especially if you're counting on it for bills and stuff like that, right? Like,
yeah.
As high as it went too. So what is that, like 66%? I think is what some of those protocols let you get up to.
I'd probably go 20%, because part of the beauty of Aave is, in most scenarios, you can get return actually for borrowing money, and at least you can get some of it. So the borrow percentage is very low. And the other part is that's motivation, at least for me personally. It's motivation to make ETH every week or so. I made about an ETH on this ENS thing. Whatever, great. I would go pay off my loan first and then go stack ETH after that. Making an ETH on Ducks or so. I made some money on Ducks last week. Pay off my loan. So that would be how I would pay myself off, just to get that LTV going in a different way, going better. So yeah, I'd be careful if you're doing it that way, as far as depositing ETH and then taking stables out and pulling it all the way out to your bank account. But that's one way to keep all your money, all your crypto at least. But if ETH goes up compared to the dollar, you're doing great. The other way to do it that's more complicated that I haven't gotten into, that I've DM'd with a couple folks about, is Abracadabra doing stuff with magic internet money. It sounds really crazy, but it's actually a good platform where you can do a loop around some Ethereum borrowing and stable borrowing and get more APY than Aave even, and do the same sort of idea. So if you follow a lot of us in the Discord, love Taiki Maeda as far as a DeFi guy. He's like, yeah, I don't really want to move into stables, but I'll throw some ETH over here. In this example, it was Harmony and Tranquil Finance. Throw some ETH over there, borrow against it, and then do that for this new Harmony Ohm fork. I know this is a foreign language, but we're hopefully, I haven't told the guys in the show this, we may be spinning off a DeFi show to get more specific in a DeFi world and more deeper into some of these specific things, because it's crazy. So yeah, that's my personal plan for winter, and possibly doing that deposit ETH, borrow against it idea. Babs, what is your winter plan?
Winter plan, yeah, like I wish I could know more about this DeFi stuff. DeFi Kingdom's probably my first exposure to it. So I'm really into that right now, and I do find it's a good learning curve of like the principles of DeFi, and at least a fun way of doing it. Like I find it kind of boring otherwise a little bit. You're managing a full-time job, trying to stay up to date with NFTs and also family. So doing another thing is overwhelming. So my winter plans, I'm going to dabble in DeFi Kingdom, try and keep up with some of the DeFi stuff that you guys talk about to the extent I can. But otherwise, like I'm happy to kind of consolidate my NFT bags a bit. I've been looking through, trying to sell one or two things a day of the stuff I know I don't really care to keep long-term. I'm kind of going away from the moon bag thing. Like if it has a moon bag by now, I'm okay kind of selling it off. I'll use things like my last groupie or my last Alameda. Like I'm happy to kind of sell those off, hold the ETH, and kind of just like lower my consolidation of my NFTs because I have too many and I can't keep track of them. So I'd rather just hold the ones I want to hold. I have some exposure still through some of the bigger ones that I have, like Bored Ape and Pixel Vault. So, I'm happy to hold Ethereum while it's pumping and kind of dabble in some of that stuff that you mentioned.
Trey, I could see you squirming when Babs was talking about selling his moon bags. So
selling his groupies. I still got 8 of those. Don't be fussing.
Well, I'm not funny. Like I like them too.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's true.
I think it's different if you only have one.
Yeah,
it is. If you had 3,
I'm in the same way.
Want to hold it.
I'm actually the same way. I mean, I've got stuff that I haven't really subscribed to the hold a moon bag unless I pick and choose which one. Like I've still got. I think I have like one Betty, Alpha Betty, because I thought like, hey, I thought that those could moon at one point, right? So I'm just kind of like hanging on tight. But it's like 0.05, so eventually, some of these ones I am selling because I've got so many one-offs that if I add them all up, it comes out to like 1 or 2 ETH or something like that, right? So picking and choosing carefully which ones I, sell and stuff like that, I'm really not too worried about. But still trying to, hold a moon bag here and there because I do think that there's still a chance that we get like a big NFT bull market still that people aren't expecting. So I still want exposure if that happens. I'm not saying
especially
it will,
with the cheaper
but
stuff. I mean, what we were saying earlier, like if we expect people to come in and not want to be spending $5,000, then these little projects like an Alpha Betty's is going to be more like the type of thing that they're going to want to buy into.
Yeah. Yep.
It's the whole gas problem though. Like, does anyone want to pay 0.04 for something that's worth 0.03? Then you have to hope it goes to 0.1 for you to actually get any profit between the OpenSea fees and what you paid for gas. So I kind of got that in my head that I'm like, I have so much of this stuff that's worth between 0.01, 0.05. Like I'd rather just sell it than that adds up when you're selling 10 to 15 of them, right? So absolutely, with the way the gas was, with the way Ethereum was, like I kind of just moved on. And like I agree with you, like I think NFTs might bull run again at some point, but in my head I keep thinking that next bull run is going to be around NFT related games, right? Like I keep thinking that's the future rather than the PFP thing. Like, are those ever going to bull run again other than the blue chips? Like my thesis was no. So I kind of moved on from them. Unless it's like one of those blue chips. Like, and that was just me making a call, right? Like I'm probably good chance I'm wrong, but that was like my thought process behind it.
Yeah, no, I get that. But yeah, in terms of winter, I mean, I'm going to be doing a lot of DeFi stuff. I mean, I got into DeFi before I even got into NFTs really. Top Shot introduced me to crypto, but once Top Shot died, I bought like CoinGecko's book on DeFi. Yes, CoinGecko has a book for anybody that's looking to get into DeFi.
A book about
but
DeFi?
like literally I did not understand a single shred of DeFi, but I was listening to like Bankless and I was like, I don't know what this is, but it sounds really freaking cool. So I went on CoinGecko and bought their book. on it. So little did I know at that point that I had already experienced DeFi through like Uniswap and stuff. So I didn't really even understand at a whole that like just by doing a Uniswap transaction, you're technically participating in DeFi. So yeah, I mean, that's going to be something that I really look into is, I'm going to start DCing out of, my ETH position probably soon, or some of it at least. So swapping into stables there and then earning yield on either Curve or any other protocol that allows it, then I think that's going to be my strategy here for the next couple months. But it's kind of nice that we have some downtime here to kind of manage all that stuff, because it is like, once NFT Summer came along, I was just like, okay, I'm not doing the whole DeFi thing, that's for sure. Like I think I got halfway through the CoinGecko book before NFT Summer came along. Yep, exactly.
For the non-nerds out there, DCA is dollar cost average, which basically means you don't sell your whole position at one point, but you sell a little bit. So it's essentially hedging when you're buying in or buying out of a position. So right Mo had a question about ballers on Flow. So some of us were DMing about ballers on Flow. I was interested in them because I'm interested in Flow and Dapper in general, like thinking about, the NFL coming, how much money is going to be onboarded onto Dapper in general, like when the NFL comes online, like a lot. People are going to have credit cards out and ready to buy NFL NFTs. So I'm bullish Dapper, which therefore means I'm bullish Flow, which said, okay, I'll buy some ballers. They had a pretty interesting queue system that worked well. I was bullish on it because it was Cloudflare's queue system, which Cloudflare is known for internet security and like just being super good at uptime is the way I would frame it, I guess. So I ended up buying 3 ballers with a Z. It's very important. So they're basically 8-bit avatar characters. Who knows? There's some rarity tied to it. So I don't know. It's an idea. Their marketplace doesn't come out until December, so that's not too exciting. I was originally out because of that, and I felt bad because I told some of my top shotty friends that I'm out because of that December. But then, I have Dapper Balance. What am I going to do with the $2,000 that I have in Dapper Balance? Nothing. I'm not buying more Top Shot stuff right now, so who knows? That's what I did with it. Anybody else play around with ballers or have a take on ballers?
I got one, and mainly because you guys were talking about it, and I thought, I'll try one. The queue system to me was confusing because my time in waiting in the queue kept going up. I didn't quite understand it. Eventually, I got through. I got one. Thought I'd risk it. I had a little bit of Dapper Balance. Again, and I'm kind of like you. I'm not outwardly trying to buy moments right now. And someone made a point. I can't remember who said, like this could be a future like PFP that they use for Top Shot and the Dapper world. So that kind of got me interested in it. Like they don't have PFPs there right now. Like no one uses their Top Shot moment as a PFP really. So I thought maybe this was a good way for those guys to kind of have a way to have a avatar picture. Kind of got interested enough. Gave it a try. One won't kill me.
That was a good point. I don't remember who brought that up either, but might have even been Pete.
It might have been Pete, actually.
Yeah, I think it was.
If it's none of us, if it was none of us, it must have been Pete.
So my thing with that is they have. Did you guys hear about the hoodlums that are on the Flow? They're the ones. They had a bunch of issues with their drop. Was their thing, but they're like the first PFP on Flow. But I agree with the idea that if this is going to be that same sort of community and people can just use Dapper money that they already weren't using, and maybe if this starts pumping a little bit, that'll bring some more excitement to it, and people will be long on Flow NFTs in general. So I think that what a lot of people, when I was looking, what they were saying was, well, I have $200 on Dapper, so I'll buy one, versus like buying it with a credit card or with some sort of other crypto. So that was kind of the cool part about it. And they sold out, right? I think they sold out.
Riley was just asking, and I have no idea because the UI was so bad.
Yeah,
you
guys saw that picture I had. It told me I had to wait at least a day.
My wait time was like 5 minutes right away, and then it just, I think me and you were both in the same boot, Lou. It was literally just, I mean, I went from 5 to 15 to 25. And then, I think by the end it was like 2 hours.
That's terrible user design. Like humans, if we see a time, then we're going to latch onto that time. So why give us a time?
Yeah.
Just don't tell us. Just say you're in the
Yeah.
queue, you're waiting. I like actually how Top Shot does it of your X number in line because it's a tangible number and it's a real number versus this time it's an estimation. You don't know how long it's going to be. But I don't know how they sold out. I don't know if they sold out because you would just see a C, literally 10K in a line of like 5 across and then however many down.
They're gone now. So that's why I thought
Oh.
it was sold out because there weren't any more of those left. I had one that was sitting that didn't go through, and I realized it after it like didn't process, and so I only got one, which I don't know. Maybe that's good or maybe it's bad, but I got one.
We'll see.
We'll see.
I'm excited to check back in when we could sell those in the marketplace, which reminds me of like MotoGP. I know Tig remembers MotoGP back in the day. I bought some at 4 a.m. I remember I bought packs and then sold them for pennies on Flow a while ago. So who knows? This kind of ties into the whole theme of the show, which is side chains exploring and doing different stuff. I don't know what's going to happen here. If you're fortunate enough to have a Dapper balance that you can play around with, sure, go ahead. Are you going to buy a $200 moment with it? I'm personally not looking to buy $200 more of moments. All right, Lou, do you have any closing thoughts for the people on this fine Monday?
No, I think I'll be Thursday. I'll be doing a Lucky Trader Lounge Thursday night. If you guys want to hang out, and talk more NFTs. The Smiles. I don't even know.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're supposed to like say the whole thing. There's a bunch of extra letters in there, but that one they pushed off their reveal, so it hasn't revealed yet. But the Fungies are going to reveal. What was that, Friday? Probably. There's a few NFTs that I ended up minting last week that are all like going to reveal in the next few days. Those Horizon Troopers, the Dab special. That one should be revealing too. So
The goats,
waiting on
another
reveals.
Dab special.
Did you get any goats last night?
I didn't.
Oh, you didn't.
They looked exactly like the other goats to me. So I was like, this is dumb.
Yeah. But
Which ones? I think we had two other goats.
Right? Waka Flocka.
Flocka bottom.
Whoever that is.
Art
right?
Wars.
That was
the
a big
Art
thing.
Wars Wednesday.
Yeah, I'm in all those with you, Lou. And I got goats too.
Yeah. I'm just tailing dabs now.
He's got all the alpha.
Tank.
He's
Didn't do
grinding
the
those
fish tank.
Discords so hard.
I'm back.
Yeah,
to my
you
roots
was
on
in the
those
voice
things.
trap or the voice chat today.
It was incredible. How Babs, did you talk to him about the voice chat? Was he close to unmuting himself and talking? Was he close at all?
I didn't ask him if he
He'll
was
get
going to
there.
unmute, but I think he was enjoying listening because he's never experienced an art block drop before either, right? So I think he enjoyed listening to see, like everyone kind of get excited and nervous about it. And, obviously doesn't have the bankroll for that because he's just starting, but it was, it intrigued him to watch and listen. And to be honest, at the end of the day, you're probably better off missing that drop based on what the floor price is looking. But it was always fun to have another.
Yeah, it's above mint. You made money.
No,
it's about mint.
It depends when you got in. Like if you got in early with gas, you're fine. If you got in late, if you got in late,
2.7.
Yeah, like I paid 2.9, right? So I'd be losing right now.
The floor is at 2.7.
It was it's almost 3. It's like it was 2.85 the last time I saw. I think that one got bought up though.
Okay. I'm still considering buying in. I'm probably not going to though. We'll see. Trey, do you have any parting thoughts?
I don't have a whole lot. I think, man, if you got downtime, I mean, going to Club DeFi and I think we got those pinned airdrop channels up that I posted. I mean, go check that out. Experiment with some of those other, if this discussion has gotten you, intrigued on DeFi, start experimenting with it. Just looking at some different YouTube videos, just trying to figure it out on your own, and then asking questions in Club DeFi. I think DeFi is kind of the next place to look if you've got downtime and you're looking to kill some time while also making some money passively a little bit more. If you're not in DeFi kingdoms, I think it's if you're bullish on crypto long term, why not start learning about that kind of stuff right now and educating yourself? I think it's a good idea. So I guess that would be my parting thought. But still
Well, and
still keeping my eye on all the NFT stuff too. I mean, there's still opportunities out here for sure. So
like the goats.
staying on top of it. And we're not as active as we once were, but maybe that's a good thing.
Yeah, like saying that though, there's probably 5 mints at least this week that you could have made money on. Like the ducks, you could have made a ton if you weren't, panicked right away. Still chances, like back like the Padlet days for us now. We got 1 or 2 a day that you can kind of pay
That's
attention
what I said
to.
last week. Yeah.
So
It's time to do our research. So if you miss the rush of minting 3 things a day and just not knowing what's going on, just bridge some of your money over to a sidechain. And then you'll feel that rush again, because it's terrifying the first time that you do it, because you're like, okay, it's gone. Where'd it go? Because normally you'll send it literally to a burn address, which means it's gone. So it's a little scary. I enjoy that.
That was me with the first time I sold one of those Henny things today. And I was trying to transfer my, DAI back, and it's gone. I don't know where it is. So yeah, I'm gonna have to figure that one out. But yeah, like you said, I looked at the transaction. It said, you're sending it to a burn address that never processed. Eventually the art blocks drop happened, so I had to get off that page. But yeah, like now I have no idea where it went. But it was like, wasn't a ton of money to me, like obviously. But just, again, it's scary bridging over on things you've never experienced before.
Totally.
Yeah. My recommendation is, I even did this with Harmony. I had a little scare with that. My recommendation is, say you are going to move like 1 ETH, just for simple numbers, move 0.1 first. Try it with 0.1. Don't just throw it all the first time.
The stupid Henny thing you couldn't, though, because they were charging you 250 DAI minimum just to do one bridge. To do one bridge, so you couldn't. Yeah, I'm not doing more than one, right? So I sent it all, and anyway.
I wonder why they charge that much to do a bridge. Like, is it a manual process? Is there someone sitting there to click buttons to move the money to Ethereum? Like, what?
I mean, the Ethereum bridge to Polygon takes like hours.
Yes.
Yeah, it does.
So I guess there's some stuff going on in the back end of that.
Not all of them do take that long, though. So don't be scared. The point is, being scared is normal. That's what I was trying to get across. And we'll talk to you about the normal timing of these different bridges around. My parting words, this is on brand, but if you need some additional security, if you're scared about security for your computer, get a little Yubico. I just got 2 of these bad boys in. I got 2 because I wanted the backup. What that is, the physical device, so you can log into things from my Google account in particular. You need this and my password. So you click a button and then lets you in. So a lot of the recent hacks that we've seen, especially on Discords, have been related to Web 2.0 security and hygiene that way, not necessarily your seed phrase and your wallet and your hardware wallet, etc. So use good hygiene in other places as well in your internet life. On behalf of Lou, Babs, Trey, this is Dangy Wang. Thank you all for hanging out. Have a good week. Bye.